The Baseball Together Network presents the Seattle Baseball Together podcast with your hosts, Blackjack Brad and Jewell Young. And now, Seattle Baseball Together.
Welcome, baseball family, to this month's episode of the Seattle Baseball Together podcast. I'm one of your hosts. My name is Brad, and I am joined as per usual by our guy, Jewell. Jewell, how are you this evening?
I'm moving and grooving. Had a long day. It's the end of May, so June sun is on the way. Something like that. I don't know.
Very good rhyming. I can tell you've been working on a book.
I have.
Very good.
Very
good work.
And that's what you call a teaser.
That is what you call a tease. Very good. So welcome, baseball family, like I said, to this month's therapy session. Here we are with a team, dare I say, underachieving, especially with what we thought, how we thought things were going to go. But ultimately, though, like, I don't know. May's been a weird month, right?
It has been, because it's been as advertised. It's the way we wish April would have gone.
Yeah.
Honestly.
So May, right now playing the Yankees, currently 16-11 in May. I'll take it, especially given a 12-16 March and April. Like, I will take 16-11, potentially 16-12 if they don't pull this out. Right now, it's bottom of the ninth. Julio just struck out. But I mean, you got Jared Kelenic coming up.
He's the hero.
He has been, right?
Has been.
Julio's been better. But
Julio's been great lately.
Yeah, lately. But anyway, so today we'll get more into this kind of stuff, and as we go. First, we're going to share 3 takeaways from the month of May, aside from finishing over 500, which is amazing and on the right track. We're going to talk a little bit about the City Connects after seeing them on the field and the performance in them. We'll address that. We're going to address the Dylan Moore situation, and then we're going to preview the June series. So let's get into it. Jewell, what is your first takeaway from the month of May?
First takeaway from the month of May is JP Crawford has been nothing short of an all-star caliber, top cream of the crop, a dude that's literally being paid $10 million that other dudes are getting paid $30 million to do significantly less.
Right.
Just produced. Crawford has been he's fully back. He's healthy. He's playing Gold Glove defense. He's hitting, he gets on base, he has productive at bats. He's out there every single day, and he brings the energy, he brings the vibes. If there was anyone to be named on this team as a captain, JP Crawford.
He'd be the guy for sure. Yeah, I love healthy JP Crawford. Like, absolutely love. Like, I knew it. I knew it last year when I said there's something up with this dude. Like, he's not right.
Yeah.
And sure enough,
Zaddy JP Crawford is back.
Yeah,
Zaddy JP is back.
Yeah, he even said, it was at a post-game interview. They said, "What are you seeing different? What's different this year?" And he said, "I'm healthy." That was his only response. Was, "I'm healthy," and we love it. And he is the guy for the leadoff spot. I understand putting him in the bottom of the lineup. I get that, right? Because then you've got a guy who's going to get on base for Julio, who was leading off at the time. But at the same time, though, you want him to get more at bats because he's getting on base so often.
And he's such a patient hitter in the box too. Like, he just sits there, he waits, he's not overly aggressive. He's like, I'm gonna let you throw me 8 pitches if you want to throw me 8 pitches. I don't care.
He bats like a leadoff hitter. He bats like a leadoff guy. He gets out there and he works a count. And he's a great hitter with 2 strikes. He doesn't stress, keeps the same approach, and it's simple and awesome.
His 2-strike OBP his 2-strike batting average and OBP is like in the 400s.
I believe it. I don't doubt that for half a second.
Ridiculous with 2 strikes.
It's this season. Every time he gets up, I feel like he's getting on. Last year, you were just like, "Oh, how's JP feeling today?" But this year, it's like he's getting on. He's going to find a way to get on, and it's been awesome.
One way or another, he gets on base,
and that's what this team needs. That's what this team needs. So I'm going to head in the opposite direction with one of my takeaways. A major weakness, a glaring weakness. The DH position is still a problem. You called this at the beginning of the season. You said the DH is going to be a problem. Right. Yeah. Yeah.
You said,
That's
I
what I'm
mean,
saying.
you
Before the
said that
season even started, you
if Tommy
said,
LaStella
like,
is your regular DH, then there's
yeah.
a problem on this
Well, and if
team.
AJ Pollock is your regular DH, you've got a problem. If
Yeah,
Taylor Trammell is one of your platoon DH guys, you've got a problem. So I looked it up, and the DH position as a whole for the Mariners
bottom of the league. He's bottom of the league.
batting 144.
Well, that's up from the .071 when it was Tommy LaStella was still on this team.
Well, yeah, but not much.
No, not much.
So, yeah, no, it's still a problem. There's a move needs to be made. There are guys who are on the market
plenty of guys out
can
there.
be brought in as a DH. Several guys have been DFA'd over the last week who could play DH.
You mentioned a couple. You mentioned Soler in our chats.
Oh my gosh, I would trade so much for Jorge Soler. I love that guy so much.
Soler,
part of it is because he's been winning me money, but at the same time, like I love Jorge Soler so much.
He's been great. Soler's an option.
But the reason he's been winning me money is because he's hitting home runs. So
I mean, that's all he does. That's all he does.
I know, and I'll take it. I'll take that guy. Like a guy who hits the ball as hard as he does, as regularly as he does. I would love that at the DH position. I would take Eric Hosmer as a DH just to get him in there and see if he can benefit from consistent reps because he didn't get those in Chicago.
He didn't get him in Boston. He didn't get him in Chicago. He got him sparingly the last couple of seasons in San Diego.
A little bit, not last year. They were ready to move on from him pretty early last year.
So he's been kind of without that bat and without a consistent opportunity. So I agree with there on Hosmer. I think he still has plenty. I mean, he's only like 32 or 33.
Yeah, I think he's 32. So he could have a lot of time left, but at the same time though, like we're still I feel like some of our timeline is still skewed by the steroid era because that's when we grew up, right?
Yeah.
That like 32 guys are like, man, this guy's just hitting his prime, right? But now it's like without steroids, it's like, okay, 32, that's pretty normal for your bat speed to slow it down at that point and for you to start to have problems as a hitter. So maybe that's the case, right? Maybe he's over the hill and he's just washed and he's done. I don't know. But with a guy with his past track record, I'd be willing to give him another chance.
Yeah, he was great in Kansas City.
Yeah. Yeah.
Plus, that would help Ty France to get a day off.
Oh, Ty France never gets a day off, and I don't know. Putting Sam Haggerty at first base blew my mind.
Teo, don't take days off.
I was joking about Sam Haggerty playing first on the big show this week. I was like, Sam Haggerty is like 5.5 feet tall and has elite speed. He is the polar opposite of a first baseman.
And yet here he is because we have no one else.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
You think Murph could just, slap on that first baseman's glove and just go for it for a game?
You would think so. Yeah.
You think.
There's a lot that translates from being a catcher to first base. So
absolutely.
That's why they move guys. I don't know. All right, Jewell, what's your next takeaway?
My next takeaway here has to be, I don't know, some of the progression going down in the minor leagues. There's some guys that are just very high on the radar. I mentioned to you, was it Deloach the other day when Jerry DePoto was talking about him? Was it Deloach or who was it? It was one of the 2020 draft picks.
I don't remember for sure. Or was it Cole?
It wasn't Cole.
Young.
It wasn't Cole. It was Locklear's in single A. It was Deloach. I'm pretty sure it was Deloach, but between those guys from the 2020 draft, like Deloach and Locklear, they're starting to show up in A-ball. And, Deloach is at AAA. He spent time with the club during summer camp in 2020. He was on the 60. He got, some experience around like the major leagues, being on like the taxi squad here and there. And he's been killing it at AAA. He's got incredible bat-to-ball skills. Just incredible. Like he's dominating at the level you want a dude to dominate in the PCL.
Yeah.
Like he's pushing, he's pushing Trammell for his job. He's pushing Wong for a job. He's pushing.
I'm sure a lot of guys are pushing Trammell for his job these days.
Yeah, but he's right there with them. And like 2020 draft pick, he's spent his years in the minors. He's made it to AAA, essentially in 2021 and 2022.
Yeah. Through
the system in 2 years. So. And he's breaking, so I love that takeaway. And I think some of the other things are interesting, like Brian Woo's been killing it down at AA out of the rotation. They moved
a lot of good things coming up about Brian Woo. So I think there are people I've seen on fan boards who have been calling for Wu to be called up.
He's been had an incredible season down there in AA, which is where you want your top of the line pitchers to dominate.
Right.
And then they had, what's his name, that got moved to the bullpen and has been really consistent down there.
Festa?
No, not Festa. Their starter.
Oh, he got
moved to the pen.
I can't think of it on top of my head right now. Yeah, no,
but
I do know that Festa's having a heck of it. He's playing really well down in the minors right now.
Well. So there's definitely guys down the minors who are pushing. They're putting Cole Young at second base, clearing a path up to him.
That's
and then
good.
Lazaro Montez
That's good. I like
is
that.
making his pro debut this week. So that's exciting.
Nice. Right on. Yeah, I feel like Jerry DePoto does a really good job building a farm team. He has a really good eye for talent. Definitely has an eye for pitching. I mean, having been a pitcher himself, I think that makes sense. But it's interesting some of the moves he makes to like, it's interesting some of the moves that DePoto makes at the big league level. You're kind of like, I don't know about that. But anyway, that's for him to do and for me to speculate on, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. All right, my next one. In fact, I am going to talk about pitching next. So we can talk about, I changed that. I put pitching in there because I want to talk about pitching. Pitching has been absolutely nails lately. Like, it's unreal that you have Issa McGee go down and you're like, shoot, that dude was like almost perfect in his second game ever, and now he's got to have Tommy John.
Look good.
But then you have Bryce Miller come in and you're like, all right, who's this guy? And he's he had a historic start. He didn't have any problems at all until he ran into the Yankees this week, and that you kind of expect it because he's got to come down to earth, and the Yankees have a good offense, so it's kind of like, well, the timing works. I'm going to give him a pass, right? He got shelled. I'm going to give him a pass.
No, this was expected. It was needed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because he needs to be able to adjust. So I'm okay with that. The bullpen has been better lately, I feel like, despite the fact that I feel like it's taxed every single day. That they're like, the starting pitcher had to go an extra 2 innings because the bullpen's taxed. Why is the bullpen taxed every day? That's what Jewell, do you have an answer to that? Why is the bullpen taxed every single day?
Because I don't know, because these guys are getting 4 or they're going 6 every day.
Yeah. Yeah, like you got your bullpen pitching like a max of 3 innings every single day. Like, why is the bullpen taxed? It doesn't make any sense to me. Is it because there are only 3 guys you trust? Is that our issue?
I think it is.
Because Flexen has been moved completely
and they're all
leverage
situations. And it's like
Flexen has been moved.
But your only leverage guy now. Well, you have 2. You have Brash and you have. And Seawald. Seawald's been incredible.
Seawald, continues to be incredible. Flexen, like I said, they moved him completely out of high leverage situations. He's basically the position player pitching at this point. That if you're down 8 runs late, you bring in Flexen and he eats the last 3 innings, which I can appreciate. I think it is inevitable that he gets moved before the trade deadline because of this.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Some team needs a 5th starter.
Yeah, most likely. I don't know. My only question with Flexen is like, what kind of deal do you put him in? Do you include him as a sweetener to a deal to get a big name, right? So that it's like this team's like, oh, we're getting a proven big league pitcher, or do you just like send him somewhere for cash considerations? And a player to
because I don't think it's the budget. I think it's more like you throw him in with like an AJ Pollock or a Taylor Trammell to get a Soler.
I'd be down with that.
Like you throw him in, it's just like
obviously I'd be down with that, but
I think Marco's kind of in that same boat, unfortunately.
Probably, yeah, because there are guys waiting down in the minors who could come up and start in this rotation tomorrow.
A lot of guys.
So, yeah. Hey, so they're in the 10th inning, and Gino just made a heck of a play to get the out at home. It remains scoreless with 2 outs in the top of the 10th. Very exciting.
Love that. We need that.
Heck of a play.
We need this win. We're on our third takeaway. Man, it's just that second base, that glaring hole at second base. I mean,
I really like Caballero, but I don't feel like he's
excellent. I just don't think he's not the guy you want if you're trying to get back to the playoffs.
Right, and like
he's the guy you want in there to spell your infield. You want him to go and spell Gino at third. You want him to play shortstop. You want him to be at second. You want him around the infield to be your infield depth, your quality infield depth, and that's what I think he's proven to be, quality depth.
That's what I said about. That's the exact same thing I said about Tommy La Stella before the season started. I said if you have Tommy La Stella as one of your starting infielders, you're not a very good infield. But if you have him as a backup, you'll be just fine. I feel the exact same way about Jose Caballero. That if he's one of the starters, which he's been great, he's been really good defensively, really good offensively.
He's excellent. Like at working the count, like he works the count. Like
he's a really good hitter. He's got a lot going for him. He's a really good player. I just don't think that he's the guy you want starting in your infield.
No.
To take you to the playoffs. And I think Jerry Dipoto feels the same way, and that's why you don't see him starting every day. Obviously there's a money thing with Wong, right? Like you've got to play him because you're paying $10 million. But at the same time, though, like if he felt that Caballero was the solution to the problem, he'd be in there every single day. And who knows? Maybe he will be. Maybe Wong will be dealt the day that Dylan Moore comes back.
Which, is close. DeMo's in Tacoma right now.
Yeah.
Him and Munoz are both in Tacoma.
Yeah.
Playing right now, and they could be activated for this next series.
Yeah, so hold on to that. We'll talk about that in just a minute. I'm going to go into my third takeaway. Are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay. They need to stop taking the first pitch. I know it goes against convention. I don't care. I hate taking the first pitch because a lot of times that's the best pitch you see in an
best pitch. And I think the
other pitchers so often groove strike one because they know they're not going to swing at it. Start swinging the first pitch. Julio is one of the best hitters in the league when he swings at the first pitch.
Yep.
So as a team, are you ready for this, Jewell?
Yes.
As a team, the Mariners have 632 plate appearances where they swing at the first pitch. They have 1,444 where they take the first pitch. So obviously taking it greater than a 2-to-1 ratio. But when they do swing at that first pitch, though, they've got a 250 average and slugging 414. When they take the first pitch, 220 average with a 371 slugging percentage. Now, the on-base percentage is a little bit higher when they take, but I think I don't know exactly what that has to do with, but I'm sure that means they're drawing more walks, right? And maybe what it is they're taking more with guys who are a little bit wild, and that's where that comes in. But I'll take a batting average that's 30 points higher and a slugging percentage that's 40. I can't math. That's 40 points higher. That's significant. And I understand there's like almost half, not even half, of the plate appearances. But if they start swinging the first pitch more, they'll probably start seeing more success.
I agree. I don't think this team is aggressive. They're too patient.
Right. And they talk about, like, the whole thing was owning the zone. They had T-shirts in spring training that said own the zone. You're not owning the zone if you're giving up a grooved first strike because you're just like, we just need to be a little bit more patient and work the count. No, don't work deep counts.
If you're playing
who gets crushed? You know who gets crushed against teams that swing at the first pitch? George Kirby, because he throws strikes.
Yeah,
and
Gilbert too.
Yeah, well, and the Angels took it to Lance Lynn today because he was throwing first pitch strikes. They were up the first pitch swinging, and they crushed him. They put up 12 on
Mike Trout hit like a freaking 470.
Yeah, he absolutely hammered that ball. It was insane.
Healthy Mike Trout, fun to watch.
They said that it was the 5th longest home run ever hit at Guaranteed Rate Field, where the White Sox went.
Mike Trout's fun to watch. But speaking of the White Sox, I think the White Sox are our answer to second base.
I love me some Tim Anderson.
I'm big on that TA connection.
I would lose my mind. I would go buy an Anderson jersey tomorrow if they made that trade.
It makes sense. I mean, we can offer them anything they want. Give them Trammell, give them Pollock back.
Give them a pitcher. I don't know if they necessarily want a minor league pitcher, but I'll give
them
them a couple pitchers if that's what they want.
They need an outfielder because their outfielders can't stay healthy. They need pitching because their pitching is abysmal, and they aren't going to be able to re-sign Tim Anderson because he does not want to be there.
No, definitely doesn't want to be there. Yeah, no, I would go for the TA trade for sure. Absolutely go for the TA trade.
That's my hot take. Sorry, White Sox fans.
All right. Okay. Let's talk City Connect real quick. So last month we talked about the release of the City Connect because they were unveiled, they were released.
They look great on the field. They do.
They look outstanding on the
phenomenal.
field. And this is the thing is like I loved them in the pictures. I thought they looked great. I wasn't huge on the black pants, but they look even better on the field than they did in the pictures. The City Connect looks amazing. I have the hat. I love it. Oh my gosh. Go ahead. What's wrong with the City Connect?
With the City Connect, it's just that we don't win in them.
Not yet.
Not yet.
0-2.
But and the two pitchers that went, Castillo, Kirby.
Yeah, I know.
I feel like a lot of teams struggle in their City Connects.
Except for Boston, they're like what? Would they? That thing that I sent you, they were what 17-4 in their City Connect.
Houston does well in their City Connects. I mean, they just won this last weekend in them.
Look good, feel good, play good, right?
Yeah,
that's what you would think.
I mean,
but the problem is like, and I am a big proponent of stink on a uniform. You know, like this is going to be around for a long time, and if it continues to be a problem, then the problem is going to be around for a long time. Because I don't know if it's just going to do. They're going to do this one round of City Connect, and this is around forever as long as Nike has the deal, or if they're going to do the NBA thing, and once everybody gets their City Connect, start over. You know,
more, yeah, probably cash.
I don't know if that.
Look at New Era.
Oh yeah, why not? Well, I would absolutely do that if I was Nike for sure. Yeah,
absolutely,
definitely,
absolutely. Expand the kits.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, like I said, I like them. I love seeing them. It's fun, but so far it's like 0-2, and they don't play well. So
no, they don't. They look great though. And
I guess they're gonna lose. Look good doing it.
Yeah, they look great doing it, and I mean, everything about it looks great. When they hit home runs, the celebration in the City Connects. Whew.
Yeah. Well, yeah. That's the last thing about this, I think, is that the Trident looks great against the City Connect. It's like that celebration is made for the City Connect.
Yeah.
All right. So we talked a little bit about Dylan Moore. We had the Dylan Moore situation, the Dylan Moore conundrum, if you will, coming up in the next few days because he's in AAA. He's been on a rehab assignment. So what do? What you've got to get rid of somebody on this roster. Who's the guy who ends up going? Because it makes sense. You've got Sam Haggerty would be an easy guy to get rid of, right? As much as you love him, I love me some what do they call him?
Ham Swaggerty.
Ham Swaggerty. I love me some Ham Swaggerty.
I know.
But he has not been good this year. And you can't just hold on to a guy because he's a good pinch runner. Right?
He needs reps. Well, you can, but
you can. That's Billy Hamilton made his way in the league.
Could also call up Jonathan Clase from Able if you just want someone to run.
Right, yeah. But at the same time, though, like you've got Haggerty, who is a proven big league runner, right? That he knows how to run the bases in big league. Oh, I think the Mariners just walked it off. Caballero was the Manfred man, and Cal Raleigh hit a double to right field.
Let's take back everything we said about Caballero.
No, well, he wasn't in the game though. They put him in there as a pinch runner.
Who hit it to right?
Cal Raleigh did. Cal did.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. We'll take it. Yeah, but I think it comes down to one of three players for the Mariners. I think it comes down to Taylor Trammell, AJ Pollock, and Colton Wong. Because I think Jerry DiPoto keeps Haggerty on this team. The versatility pays off. I think you have to either get rid of Caballero, or not Caballero, Wong or Pollock or Trammell, because Dylan Moore is not really going to play the infield probably. Because you have Caballero.
He's pretty good at playing the infield, but I think Caballero is a better second baseman. But I do like Dylan Moore in the outfield. He's fast. He's got a good arm. So I think Tramel's got to be your odd man out.
I think
He
Trammell or
hasn't
Pollock.
proven. This is the thing between those two is that Taylor Trammell has not proven that he can be a consistent big league hitter at all.
And he has minor league options.
And he has options.
So
AJ Pollock, I know he has 4 home runs and 2 of those were in the same game, right? Like, come on, man. But yeah,
so those are my guys. I think one of those 3 guys moves. So
Wong. If this is the thing, if the timing works, I think if the timing works out and they're able to package Wong somewhere, I don't know if they're going to DFA him because that's a lot of money I don't think the Mariners are willing to just eat that money.
No,
right?
Not the Mariners at least.
That's why I don't think they DFA him. I would love to see him packaged in a deal, and which is upsetting to me because I was really excited about the Wong move. I was really excited about him coming to Seattle.
Oh yeah, same. I thought that was a great fit.
But sometimes it just doesn't work. Right?
Sometimes it's 2 years too late.
And sometimes it's 2 years too late. Exactly right. So I think honestly for Colton Wong's sake, for his psyche, for his career, everything, he's got to move on. They've got to move him.
I think so too.
And I think if the timing works out, that's the move. But if Wong is still around when Dylan Moore is activated, I think it's Taylor Trammell gets optioned.
Yeah. I just feel like there's no movement on any kind of trade market right now across the MLB. Like there's nothing.
Nobody's getting traded. There are 0 trades going on anywhere. It's crazy.
It's small.
Because usually there's at least like a couple here and there, even small ones, but there's nothing right now.
By now, yeah. There's been some really, really small ones, but it's just been involving like minor leaguers or very back of the bench kind of MLB guys. So no one of impact.
Yeah. It's crazy.
But
so that's our take on the Dylan Moore situation. Let's wrap things up here. We're going to preview the June series. So Mariners finished May officially 17 and 11. 17 and 11. I'll take that 7-3 homestand to finish out the month. I'll take that every time, especially 100%. Salvaging, saving a sweep against the Yankees. I'm here for it. Absolutely. Going into June, heading on a road trip, heading down to Texas this weekend, and then next week in San Diego, and then in Anaheim against the Angels. Got 2 days off there, Monday, Thursday. That hopefully will help things. I'm looking forward to that series against San Diego because I want to see how the Mariners play against a struggling Padres team because the Padres have not been good at all.
Hopefully they can scout Juan Soto while they're there.
Well, the problem is that it feels like the Padres could pop off any day, and you don't want to be the team that makes them pop off,
No.
So it's going to be an interesting series to watch. And then, like I said, going to Anaheim, playing the Angels, then come home, got the Marlins. Maybe that's when there's a deal for Soler when the Marlins are in town. Cross those fingers, but not too tight. And then you have the White Sox at home as well. That's 6 games in 7 days, day off, and head to New York, and then head to Baltimore, come home, host the Nats, and then a series to wrap up the month against Tampa Bay at home.
I like the same record. I think we stay status quo and we just keep, winning series. 2 out of 3 here, 3 out of 4 there.
I would right now, with the way that the Rangers are playing, with the way that the Mariners offense is going, I'll take 1 out of 3 in Texas. I'll take a split in San Diego just because it's hard to win a couple games on the road like that. I'll take 2 out of 3 in Anaheim.
In San Diego?
What's that?
Is it a 2 or 3 in San Diego?
2, just 2 games, Tuesday, Wednesday. I'll take 2 out of 3 in Anaheim, 2 out of 3 against the Marlins, 2 out of 3, maybe 3. I'm calling a sweep against the White Sox.
Yeah.
The tough thing is going to be getting 1 or getting 2 in New York. That's going to be tough.
Are they against the Mets or
against the Yankees in the Bronx?
We've done it before.
It's true. And then
I'll take 2 out of 3. I'll take the
you're
2 out of 3 there.
2 out of 3 against the Yankees.
I think they got some good intel this time around, and that short porch plays well.
I think they figured them out.
The short porch plays well to our lineup.
If they can take 2 out of 3 from the Yankees, I'm going to ride momentum and go 2 out of 3 against the Orioles.
Yes, that's a huge series.
That would be enormous. And then better sweep the Nats. And
is that a 3 game?
Yeah, that's a 3 game. And then the last game of the month is the first game of the series against the Rays. So what do we have there?
So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. You got 14 wins there.
And see, that's a pretty good month.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You're 14
and 7. 14 and 7. I'd take that month.
I'll take it.
I'd take 13 and 8. I don't know if it's going to be good enough to stay in the hunt because the Rangers are playing like a team possessed at this point. And
I don't understand.
The nice thing though is that the Astros have not taken off, and I don't think they're going to be honest with you.
I think they're about to. I think they're about to now that Altuve is back.
I don't think they will. We were talking about this on the big show this last week. Is that last year going to the playoffs, the Astros had problems. They had a major weakness, and it was that they didn't get on base. They never got on base. They relied solely on home runs. If they got anybody on base, they're hitting like 2, maybe 3-run home runs. A lot of solo home runs, though. This year, they're not hitting those home runs. Is that the Astros can't string together hits, and that's their problem. That's the problem that they have right now is they don't string together hits to manufacture runs. And if you can't manufacture runs and you're not hitting home runs, you're not going to win games.
True.
So that's why I don't think the Astros are going to take off. That's why.
True. I dig it.
So maybe the Rangers fall off in June. They're going to fall off at some point, I feel like.
They have to. I mean, but they have a solid core. 3 guys, Adolis Garcia, 4 guys, Adolis, Jung, Semien, and Seager. They've all been.
They do have a good core, and those guys have been playing really well. And Jonah Heim's been pretty good. He's solid behind the plate for them. He's been really good. And they don't have Jacob deGrom really yet either. So there's that going, which is weird. But I don't know. I still think at some point they got to fall off because that pitching staff doesn't have a whole lot of depth.
No,
and eventually
nasty Nate's only so nasty.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, how do you feel about June? Do you feel about the same?
I'm there with you. I'm about 14 and 8, 14 7.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, I like that. However the math works out.
Yeah, I think they I think they get some good momentum there. If they can take 2 to 3 against the Yankees, they take 2 to 3 against Baltimore. They come home, they ride that momentum for the rest of the month. So
yeah,
I think it's a struggle until they get there.
But the Nats took 2 out of 3 from the Dodgers. Like,
I mean,
where'd that come from?
The A's won 1 against the Braves.
They won 2 against the Braves.
Yeah, they won the series against the Braves. So
yeah, I don't know. That's baseball, Susan. But I don't know. But baseball family, let us know what you think about how the Mariners are going to be in June, how they've been so far. Do you have one major takeaway you want to share with us? Leave it down in the comments or drop it in the mailbag. There's a link in the description of every episode. You can send us an email through the mailbag. Jewell, let them know where they can find you.
You can find me on Twitter at BallboyJ. You can find me on the IGs at BallboyBlog, or you can find me at YoungDadPod. Stick around for an announcement on the July pod for an aforementioned book at the beginning of the show that you might be able to get a copy of. Brad, yours will be in the mail, signed autograph with a kiss, lipstick, of course, for you.
Oh, sweet. I love it.
So you get the lipstick version, but for the listeners, stay tuned for next month.
Excellent. Looking forward to that. That's very cool. You can catch me on the big show. Baseball Together podcast comes out every Tuesday during the season. We are also going live Thursday nights at 6 p.m. Pacific time. Not doing it this week because of some conflicts, but every other week we'll be there live for sure. So be sure to check us out Tuesday and Thursday night live as well. Baseball family, thank you so much for joining us for this month's episode of the Seattle Baseball Together podcast. We will catch you next month.